Well. Look what Sony has done to the gaming world. And I'm not just going to blame it on Sony. Microsoft, you're doing the same thing too. So pretty much I was looking at everything and I looked at the news and this just pop up like sometime in of this month that they're taking away all the games. Technically, they're taking away the CDs, the discs that we've been grew up for a long period of time, ever since PlayStation came out with those black CDs. So pretty much you just take them away from us. So that means that ain't nothing. And now you want to keep everything digitized. I hate to say this though, but there's people out here that's pretty much collect these games. This is what they do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got a few games out here I don't collect, but this is not going to be pretty, man. And I hate to say this, man, with the gamers out there and what stuff was going on. Let me be clear how they really think. The
The
people
people
are
are
pissed
pissed
off.
off.
So let's talk about that at the RP35 studios. And I'm going to put my opinion on what have they done? What were they thinking when they done that? So let's talk about that. Alrighty. So this is really blum crazy. I mean, like, I just don't understand what made them do this. Now, like I say, I don't know if it's just corporate situation that pretty much that just want to make this happen. Like I say, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of digital games that I have that's part of my collection. Now, way back then, we just had the disc because when we went to any of these stores that we pretty much that we used to buy these games, this is what we used to do. I mean, we used to keep them, or we can pretty much that we can do what we want to do. And and it comes to that point that it's just really stupid for them what made them to do this. But I'm not going to read anything to what he says. I know everybody else pretty much already know what's going down. But this is my per te of pretty much how I feel about this. And I remember a way back I've did a video of PlayStation who did this. It's a cable thing. I think it was called the VEU or something like that. And they used to have like all different cable channels. The price was right. Everything was pretty much was cheap. It was really good to go. I mean, it was something that I like because when you go to different providers, you're paying a whole bunch of money just watching TV, right? So when I pretty much purchased the thing, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I forgot how much I was paying. I think I was paying like 55 dollars a month, and it was outstanding. I mean, it had a streaming thing. It didn't glitch up anything. It came up clear. You had your menu going. And then after I did another video after that, they cut it. They killed it. And I was thinking like, are you serious? And then I got to go back to the other providers that I'm spending almost hundreds, $200 just to watch TV, which is pretty much there's nothing really ain't nothing on TV to begin with. But once they started doing that, I was like, come on, Sony, man, you had something good going. Until now, they was talking about now we're going back with the movies. That people who already have the movies that pretty much already, you know, bought the movies and they got it into their library. So they got it into their terabyte or whatever, how they got it into it. And now Sony is pretty much saying, we're going to take all your movies that you own, which that's pretty messed up. I mean, why do you want to do this? I mean, don't you realize you're losing people of all this going on? And then now you got GTA 6 coming, and now all you're going to have is a case. with a code that you're going to put into it, and you got to scan that code and whatever into download on the digital games. And that's pretty stupid because like I say, there's times like I have a lot of digital games between PlayStation and Xbox. Sometimes I get really nervous, I get really scared because those external hard drives, they can die. They can die. And I had one died, I say maybe 5, 6 years ago. And I remember one time I had something and it croaked, like it died. And you can hear it making it start making these noises, and then after few minutes later after that, I had so much data into it, and it's just putty gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing you can be fixed unless if you go to somebody who can fix it. But I went to everybody else. I couldn't get it to fix. It was gone. All the stuff I had into it. And sometimes when I buy these digital games, I'll be thinking to myself like, I'm scared these things going to go out because how can they bring the stuff back if you already purchased it? You spend a lot of money on, buying these games. And the CDs was a protector because you can take a CD, you can do what you want to do. And, but if you go back to something, and I remember like Sony pretty much just kind of lied. But if you go back to E3 of 2013, when he told us that these games was pretty much, we ain't going nowhere. These games is going to stay with us and it's not going anywhere. You can trade it to your friends. But look at this video, man, and I tell you what's up, man. Check it out.
We believe in the model that people embrace today with PlayStation 3 and continue to demand. Just heard you there. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
Oh, and after that, so we pretty much just got lied to, and this is going on 2026, and this stuff is start to happen. They just woke up and say, okay, this is going to happen in 2028. Wow, what the hell is y'all doing? And then once you do that, that's it. But but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to when we used to go to Electronic Boutique, and we used to see all the games that we can just look at, games that we can pretty much that can just purchase. Nothing, everything was there. We can see, we can look at the box. There's times like when we go when we look at games, we go like, say for example, we go to Toys R Us, and I was one of those guys. Or and we'll look at a game and we open up the box. You got the menus and the books is pretty much as colorful, lovable, that you can see what you can do because you really can't wait to play these games when you look at the box. And I was one of those guys, those kids, when you used to, like, you get a game and like I say, your parents purchase it and you open it up, you want to get that plastic off and you want to open it up, and it's got the manual book, then you want to look at the main book, but you so anxious and you want to play these games. And once you get home, cut the console on, here you go. You ready, good to go. And like I say, that was one of the best as I used to go. And then plus, when you go to the mall, when you look at these box games, and then, with CDs and with PlayStation and Xbox, and you start looking at the stuff. And I remember back in the day when I very first bought my PlayStation 2 when I bought my PlayStation 2, and man, it was awesome because the first game I think I bought was Tekken Tag Tournament, and went back and played it, had a field day with it, man. And then once, the only movie I think I owned on the DVD when the DVD compatible was coming out on the PlayStation 2 was pretty much, I think, Transformers the movie, and that was one of my favorite ones that we used to play. And then same thing, it goes on between Sega, when we open up a game and, you got the disc and everything, man, it brings back memories, and people collect these games, or collectors. And then, like I say, these games, I'm telling you, these games you don't see no more. And when you buy it, you got it for a good less price. But when you try to find these games now, bro, they're expensive because they're retro games. And like I say, me, like your boy, you know, I got one right here, Kingdom Hearts, man. And like I say, it's it's one of the bestest that you want to have in a collectors. And same thing PS3. You got with a Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And and like I say, I had to get it somewhere else, because if you can get a cheap deal on it. But I'm telling you, these games, what you see right now, or you're paying what how much you was paying before they first came out. These games are old. They shouldn't be. I mean, I understand they collect them, but they shouldn't be that high. And that was back then when I was looking for NCAA 14. And this is before college pretty much came out on it. And I remember time NCAA was the same price that it was when it first came out. But at that time, they was wanting more. They was wanting 69, 79, and it just kept going up retarded. $100 just for the game. And back in the day, the game was only what $49 at that time. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what are y'all doing? So it's just like it just looks so crazy that when you go back and start looking through certain different games, and then like me going to Toys R Us and you looking at when I used to go look at Genesis games, and you go back and look at the Toys R Us and you see the tickets where they have the tickets where you can look at, because you couldn't look at the game. They had it like in some kind of pocket where you pull out the paper, and then you have to take the ticket to the register or whatever, and then they'd go have to go back and get it, because way back then, it was smart, because back in those days, people can steal these games and run off with it. But they played it smart because they had the games in the back. That was very professional that they did back then. But stuff like that is not going to be the same no more. And when you start buying digital games, like I said it before, I got a lot of digital games between all three consoles, between Nintendo, PlayStation, and Microsoft. But at the same time, really, Nintendo is pretty much is the savior right now. They still got their games, and they still got the cartridges still kicking, kicking butt, still taking names. But hopefully they don't do this. I mean, I hope Nintendo will stay loyalty to what they're doing right now. Um but it's kind of crazy though that you're putting everything, and it's kind of weird when I looked at it. They've been putting all these old games digital, and I kind of realized that here for a moment, because I know I saw the Tekken games, and a lot of people that already have it, they trying to put stuff on digital now. But the digital games is going to be kind of scary, because like I say, it's going to really take GameStop out of business, because what can GameStop can do? Yes, we can buy the consoles, we can get the consoles, but we can't get the games. If you walk up in there, you have to download this code to put the game on digital, or you have to go to your PlayStation store, or you have to go to your Microsoft store to buy the games and then download it. But now with GTA 6, now come on now. We knew how big this thing. I think what it has over what 600 megs of data into that mix. I mean, you will have to buy you another hard drive, just to pretty much external hard terabyte, just to play that whole game in. And that's pretty stupid, because you got to delete all the other games that you had and put that into the thing. But ever since that they made that announcement, I don't know what was he thinking. It, like I say, it's pretty stupid the way they made that decision. But I heard that they're trying to win like lawsuits and stuff like that. But it's a corporate thing. I really don't see how they winning on this. I mean, I really don't. Cause like I say, this is a business. This is nothing. You're not going to see anything like it is way back in the day. You're not. Um, Same thing. When it comes to, you buy a game, and I kind of ran about this one. You buy a game and you're paying the price that what you're paying for, but then you don't have the characters into it, or fighting games. Like I say, I'm into the fighting genre, and like I say, when you want to play a game that you pretty much want to have a character, and you're like, oh man, this dude's coming out. I kind of like it the way it was back when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out on the Dreamcast, and you didn't have to buy anything. You just take it, you beat the game, and you unlock characters. Same thing with Tekken 3, Tekken 4, when you had characters, you unlock them instead of you just playing, go buying DLCs, and then you spending none of the extra money just because you're paying the stuff. games like that's what I love back in my day, because all you had a memory card, you pop that bad boy in, you had enough. And sometimes when you play bigger games, you go get another memory card and that's it. And I can tell you one thing, those memory cards last for a long time. I've never had a problem on a memory card between PlayStation 2s, um, Sega Saturn when they had that big memory thing you can buy and you can put more games into that. Dude, that was awesome because you can collect. Dreamcast had one with the thing you can hook onto your controller where it's got the little video thing on it, which it was neat. And it's another memory thing. You can put more stuff in memory. But when it comes to your terabyte and stuff like that you putting into, what about if that thing dies? And then you just bought all those digital games and it just croaks. And it's pretty stupid. Sometimes I get scared about that from time to time, and stuff like I'm like, oh man, this thing's gonna die, nothing I can do. But when you got the games, you got the discs, you ain't gotta worry about them. It's in your possession. And just like what he was saying, you can keep the games, you can trade it, you can sell it, you can give it to whoever you want to have, but the game ain't gonna go nowhere. And it's just like it was awesome, and you can do it that way. But when you take that away from us, we thinking myself like, dude, come on, man. The games is pretty much high enough we try to find. And I was like one of those guys. I had a lot of games, dude. I had tons and tons of games. Like I used to buy them, if it was Electronic Boutique or Best Buy or um Toys R Us and stuff like that that we used to purchase. And there was times I really wish I had all those games, man. But there was times when I traded in, for money because sometimes when you living in rough times and you have to do what you have to do, and believe me, it happened before, and I've got rid of a lot of things that I was struggling on certain things, bills couldn't get paid or whatever, and I had to get rid of it. And that sometimes when you do try to find it, there's games I try to go back and you go somewhere or go to little retro stores, they will have it. But these retro stores, you're gonna be paying way more money than what you was paying when they first came out. Even more. So, for anything that just, go up between everything, it's just I think it's a bad move. That's just in my opinion. Um, but leave me a comments. What do y'all really think about this? I mean, I think a lot of people are pretty much is just ticked off about this right here and what kind of decision that they made. It seemed like they just had a board meeting. They just woke up and be like, oh, let's make it digital. Let's get rid of the discs because what they're doing is you can stay trying to save more money of making manufactured discs, just keep making them. And and I guess as they supposedly trying to save money. I don't know what's going on with that deed, but uh you know I'm still going to continue keeping the discs. I'm not going to really get rid of my disc. I mean, it's a collector, and like I say, that's just like you go to somebody's house, you want to play the game, but see, it ain't like it is now. When you had a PlayStation 1, you can just put the game in, you don't have to really download that. See, now you have to get a game if they don't have it, you have to download it and you have to put it back in, and if they don't have it, or less of when they do get it, you can have the disc and you don't have to go through that download stuff. Because sometimes you gotta download a game, you got to wait, and then, but it's pretty stupid though. But I heard that they was talking about trying to I was looking down here that they were saying for the important updates of the PlayStation Store for the PS3 and the PS Vita announced today. So I guess they going to update the darn thing. So technically, what they're saying is, if they do update the thing, I thought the thing done crashed. I thought it was gone. I mean, you couldn't even buy anything. But I guess they trying to bring all these old ones back and more expensive than anything. Because say if you went from going to GameStop and they had a deal, and say, for example, I'm just going to put it out there. Say Resident Evil Requiem, and say you bought that and for like if you buy it on digital, sometimes it can be $44. Okay, now say if you went buy it for pre-owned and you get it from a GameStop or something, you may get it for like 30 something, 36 bucks for your buck. So you get it less from that. Now, sometimes you do get games that be lower on digital from time to time. You don't get them all the time, but sometimes they'll have games, and I have purchased a couple of games that's digital that's if it's gone down. There's games that's pretty much if it hits my expectations, I'm going to definitely going to buy that price. But if it's something that, you know, don't really want it, so like I said, I'm not gonna put myself into that for that point if I want to just go ahead and buy it. Because sometimes when it comes to pre-owned games, um, I'll get it, and sometimes I do have games that don't work sometime, and I just have to take it back. But same thing with the pre-order games, when games now start coming out and people going crazy, they pre-order stuff. I've not really pre-ordered anything. The only game I think I ever pre-ordered was Dragon Ball Fighters, and that was something that I pretty much treasure the most because I'm a Dragon Ball fan. So that was something I had to have. Um, just like now you got the Marvel Tokon fighting game that's coming out here in August. And like I said, you might have people still trying to get that. I'm not. I'm gonna wait till August come in and I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Um, but the only thing that's what's gonna mess everybody up is because we are gamers that we're collectibles. We love to collect these things. Sometimes these games are hard to find. And I know a lot of people have buy them, they can get them from eBay or somebody bought from eBay or Macari or anywhere, and they collect these games, because like I say, you're not going to see these anymore. So now they pretty much is saying that the newer games that's coming out now, they're done. 2028 comes in, it's over. It's it. This is it. It's done. So, every game now, they're going to have consoles that's going to come digital. And even if they do make a PlayStation 6, which I heard, there's people on here they on YouTube where they'll say, "Oh man, I ain't gonna get it. I ain't gonna get it because they doing this." They're gonna pay for it. They're gonna get what their money's for. Like I say, if it's a game that looks good, they're gonna get it. They're gonna have to get it digital. They have no other choice. But I've not had any issues of me buying digital games. Like I say, all my games are digital because there was times I don't have a disc because I know my PlayStation 5 don't have the disc drive. It just yeah, I can only play it digital. That's it. So I download my digital games. I go to the PlayStation store and I pretty much digital the games, and I just keep it into my external hard drive because my memory of the PlayStation you only get what 500, so that's nothing. But you got to have a terabyte somewhere to put more stuff in. Don't get me wrong. There's games I done delete a lot. Same thing with my Xbox. There's games I want it and I delete it because I don't have enough room and I want to play it and I just delete it. But the games are still in your library that you can always it can come back. Now, hopefully they can be smart enough and be like, okay, if hopefully they'll make a decision. So if you lose a game and it's already in your thing, then hopefully we go back to your email or whatever they do, and we can find it and we'll get it back. But who knows? We don't know what they're doing. Um, but I think my last on this one, I think they made a mistake. I think they should just keep the disc like they've been doing. I don't think they should kill it. I know they trying to save money and whatever they're trying to do. I don't know, but hopefully Sony and Microsoft will learn their lesson. I mean, hopefully if something comes around, be like, oh man, we losing money because us as the consumers, we pretty much just this is what we do. Um, I'm not into politics or anything, but when it comes to something like this and they just put this out there, I think it's pretty dull. I just hope they learn their lesson for what the damages they done. Um, not to mess this up. Hopefully they can look somewhere in their heart and their mind. It's not all about money because like I say, they're getting their money from us. And we're buying the mess out of the stuff because we love it because we're gamers. And like I say, I'm an old cat, 47 years old, buddy. I'm still a gamer. I'm still a gamer till I die. From all the way up from the Atari, from the Intellivision to the Nintendo to the Genesis to the Super Nintendo to the N64. Oh man, I can keep going. and that's just the way I am. I mean, I love video games, but like I say, I can never get tired of them. Like I say, I still play them, but but getting rid of the disc format because you used to just popping that disc in, and now you're not going to see it anymore. So like I say, as a saying, you go to GameStop or whatever and say the case is sitting right here, and then when you go back and you look at the case, you open it up, the first thing you're going to do is you're not going to see this. You probably won't see this. Only thing you may see is pretty much is some kind of paper where they have on here where they have like you take this thing and you download it, but you have to purchase the game. You can't do it on your phone because if you walk into a GameStop, it just be a box. So what they'll do is they have to print it out on a receipt, put the stuff on the receipt. You got your box and you put it on a receipt. That's it. And you thinking myself like, where is the disc? Where the disc? Well, we don't make them no more. But I hope Sony learned a lesson, and like I say, the mistakes they done. But like I say, we will see where this goes. And like I say, we not reached 2028 yet. So like I say, hopefully things can pretty much change. We don't know, but we'll see and hope for the best. I mean, I hope because like I say, Microsoft is trying to do the same, and I just hope that these people will learn their lesson because you're gonna start losing gamers, man, and it ain't gonna be the same no more, and people gonna start jumping ships. So hopefully y'all do the right thing, and hopefully everything will be okay. And but leave me some comments, man. I would love to chat, man, to see how y'all feel about this, man, because I think this is a stupid idea that Sony and Microsoft are doing. And Nintendo is pretty much still keeping the dream alive. Hopefully, we hope they don't do the same thing. I mean, even though you can have digital games on that Nintendo Switch, but hopefully they can still keep their cartridges and keep everything that they do. And hopefully they don't make a mistake as much as these two guys doing. And everything will kind of be all right. Cause like I say, I understand. Cause like to me, I'm old school. I miss the old days, and keeping the cartridges and the discs and stuff like that. Man, that's collectibles. Um, but you can't take away the games from us. So like I say, we still going to keep collecting. We still going to have our games, and that's that. Straight and simple. Alrighty, this is your boy RP35 signing out of here. Y'all take care, and y'all have a very very blessed day. Peace.